Welcome to another episode of InRange. I reposted some of my old mud tests with the AR-15 and AK and other guns via shorts on YouTube. That's what YouTube wants now, is shorts. And the AK video went up into over 30 million views right now, and the AR-15 video is, I think, at 5 million or something like that. But that's not what I'm here to talk about. What really was interesting and weird was the amount of comments, specifically in the AR-15 video, about how I was wrong, not about the mud test, but how I was wrong about calling this gun right here on the table, which, by the way, this is the same one from the mud test, calling this an AR-15. There's countless comments about how this is not an AR-15, it's an M16. And the first one I saw about that, I'm like, whatever. And now there's hundreds, thousands, in fact, saying that this is an M16, not an AR-15. Some of which, of course, in normal YouTube fashion, these people are very sure of themselves and calling me names in the process. You idiot, blah, 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 blah. But you know what? Maybe I am an idiot, but I'm not an idiot about this. This is indeed an AR-15. This is not an M16. This is not an M16. And that's what I'm here to talk to you about today. I don't know where this interesting misinformation is coming from. I like to assume, or I just kind of generally assume, that it has something to do with video games. But I don't know. But what I do know is that it's prolific, and the amount of comments make that obviously so. So just to give you a brief amount of history, the AR-15, the AR stands for Armor Light Rifle, and it was Armor Light Rifle Variant 15. This was designed in the late 50s, early 60s by Eugene Stoner and Jim Sullivan at Armalite, and they ultimately sold the design to Colt. Now, there were some select fire, and when I say select fire, I mean fully automatic variants of the AR-15 in the early development cycle. But once Colt got a hold of the AR-15 design and patent, they ultimately acquired a military contract, and when the gun was acquired by the military, the Air Force initially, they acquired it in almost exactly in this design. There was a prong flash hider, not a A1 flash hider here, with no forward assist, in select fire, meaning that there was safe, semi, and full auto. And that, when it was adopted by the military in its fully automatic format, was called the M16. Now, later on, we see in the 80s the development by the Marine Corps of the M16A2, and this is very much a similar version of that. Heavy barrel, A2 sights, 30-round magazine, different handguard, longer buttstock, etc. But this is still not an M16A2. This is an AR-15. So once Armalite sold the patent over to Colt, AR-15 as a title became synonymous with the semi-automatic variant of the now militarily adopted M16. So when we speak of this now in 2023, or in the current day, M16, M16A1, M16A2 are all variants of the AR-15 derivative, but in their militarized format, and all of them have some variant of select fire. But all of these derive from an AR-15. The differential, and really the only difference, is that the M16 is the military term for the gun in its militarily adopted select fire variant. So, in fact, this Colt right here, which is one of the earlier semi-automatic civilian manufactured Colts for the market, the same one used in the mud test that all these people are telling me is an M16, not an AR-15, is called the Colt AR-15 Sporter. And in the process of bringing it to the civilian market, to make sure that it couldn't be easily converted to full auto, they made some modifications. The inside of the lower receiver is milled differently so that full auto fire control group cannot fit in there. The bolt carrier has some variants that's not a full auto bolt carrier, although you can use full auto bolt carriers in semi-automatic guns legally. And one of the bigger ones is Colt changed the front takedown pin from a pin to a screw system and changed the hole diameter, making it Colts in some ways less desirable, because a Colt lower will not mate with a regular AR-15 upper without some little modification pins. So at any rate, I assume that because there's a carry handle and we're dealing with a new generation of people interested in firearms and video games or film or something, that anything with a carry handle is assumed to be an M16 by a large portion of the audience. But that is incorrect. This with a carry handle, that with a carry handle, does not necessarily mean M16, and both of these are AR-15s. So hopefully that helps clarify this and maybe demystifies some of the differences between AR-15 and M16. But when you see a carry handle or you see a retro gun like this, even though they are almost part for part entirely interchangeable with the military equivalent, they are not M16s. They are AR-15s. Hopefully you like this kind of stuff. Please consider supporting InRange on Patreon. It is completely a viewer-supported project. People like you are what keep InRange alive. Without our Patreon support, we are not here. You can find us at patreon.com/InRangeTV. And if you can't do that, just subscribe to the channel and share with your friends, and hopefully clarify to people what the differences are between an AR-15 and an M16. Thanks for watching.